What do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. I don't remember much about the cartoon George of the Jungle, but I do remember a bit of shtick from the show and the song. On the show, friends were always warning George to
watch out for that tree.
George, oblivious to the words of caution, almost always face-planted into said tree. A few years back, the High School Activities Association in my state started requiring concussion education for students and coaches in every single sport. Coaching cross country, I looked at the other coach working with me and said, "What are they going to do, run into a tree?" We laughed and took the course because we had to. Fast forward a couple of years. We hadn't had a single concussion until we were preparing for our home meet. Setting up a tent, a girl grabbed a pole, swung it around without looking, and hit another girl in the head. That girl was out with a concussion for 2+ weeks. During that same season, another runner got a concussion when he laid his motor scooter over and hit his head on the road. Wear those helmets, people. Neither of these was cross-country related, but we had to follow the return-to-play protocols mandated by the state. Fast forward another few years. The team was sent out on a warm-up run. The first runners circled around and continued on past me and my assistant coach. Then 2 runners came by, going a little slower. One of them looked at me, pointed at his friend, and said, "He ran into a tree." Wait, what? They laughed a little bit and ran on. A few minutes later, they were back around. This time, the tree hitter seemed disoriented. We sat him down and ran through our concussion check. Every sign he was exhibiting shouted, "When in doubt, sit him out." I shook my head. I hadn't expected to witness the punchline to my years-old joke, but there he was, sitting in front of me, as dazed as Cartoon George. In both the Old and New Testaments, there are words of caution to the proud. Paul wrote this very short but pertinent advisory to the church in Corinth in 1 Corinthians 10:12. If you think you're standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. That's a watch out for that tree warning if I've ever heard one. George, strong as he could be, hit the tree because in his pride he failed to heed the hollering of those closest to him. Solomon, the wisest man ever, wrote this in Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Do you, because you're a bit, dare I say it, cocky, find yourself in deep doo-doo? Many fall into sin because they think they're invincible. I can handle it, they say, and then bark meets face. Temptation isn't something to play around with. If you flirt with sin, sin will win. So don't play coy with evil. In God's power, asking for help, shun it. Only then will you have a chance. Paul, immediately after telling the folks in Corinth to be careful lest they fall, said this. I'm reading 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. You don't have to hit the tree. God will provide a way out when you're tempted. Thank God, he'll do it every single time. Are you wondering about the fate of our tree-smacking runner? He ended up being just fine. It wasn't a full-blown concussion, I guess. He was able to run at the next meet, and he got a new personal best time. Hope he's learned at least one lesson. Watch out for that tree! Oh no, it's sad I know we've come to the end of the show. See you next time.